The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta is officially over, and in this video, I wanted to share my thoughts, impressions, and review of what I played over the past weekend. Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of Modern Warfare 2. Now, a quick reminder, this is all coming from a Battlefield fanboy who has had little interest or engagement with the COD franchise for pretty much the last decade or so outside of Modern Warfare 2019. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I also will just be showing my first round in the background as I didn't record other rounds, so you can enjoy watching me struggle in my very first round of Modern Warfare 2. But let's start with what I enjoyed. Overall, of course, the gameplay felt fast, fun, and fluid. As expected, it has built upon the solid foundations laid with Modern Warfare 2019. Also, can I mention how obnoxious they are? With just titling these Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, try googling Modern Warfare 2 release date and tell me it's not an SEO nightmare for them in naming games literally just the exact same way. It's really annoying. Anyways, the gunplay felt great with one caveat I'll mention in the bad section, but weapons feel punchy, powerful, and fun to shoot, with lots of small detail work and some fantastic audio, which really makes you feel like you're actually firing a weapon. Seriously, when you shoot, it's loud and rocks you a bit, and it's about as realistic as a game can be in what it actually feels like to fire a weapon in full auto. Arcadey elements notwithstanding. As expected, the insanely good animation work of Modern Warfare 2019 carries forward into Modern Warfare 2, and weapon animations remain snappy and extremely well done. Again, it's really sad to see the state of Battlefield while Call of Duty is putting out this quality of gunplay, audio, and animation work, when in the past that was kind of our thing. But this level of competition will only help these franchises, hopefully, in my opinion. As far as other visual and audio work, this is by far, of course, the best looking and sounding Call of Duty in the entire franchise, in my humble opinion. They continue to push the envelope further, and in Modern Warfare 2 in particular, I noticed the color and detail work in the maps was really impressive. It's a lot more colorful than I was expecting, and coming from Container Field 2042, the detail work on the maps, of course, is really impressive with the number of assets and other artwork here. Movement has been rehauled a bit with the removal of slide canceling, and to me this is only a good thing. It's kind of transitioned to bunny hopping spam around corners, of course, but the days of coked out super sliding everywhere seems to be behind us for now. I was also kind of surprised with how much weight the characters felt like they had, almost to a fault, but in ways the movement felt super grounded and weighty to me and lacked that floatiness in other Call of Duties that kind of bothered me, and I wasn't really prepared for how realistic the movement felt. The map design seems really well done here as well. Obviously, coming from Battlefield, I enjoy larger scale maps, but the smaller ones here still had a lot of good design and flow elements that I found myself enjoying a lot. Modern Warfare 2019 had some pretty terrible maps as they tried and failed to ditch the standard 3-lane map design, and in Modern Warfare 2, I think they actually nailed that mix pretty well. Obviously, this would take more time to really get a feel for, but the maps I played overall felt really good to me. Lastly, in this section of good was Ground War, which is of course the Battlefield game mode, and this was pretty fun. It is what it is, you know, large scale Call of Duty, and while that creates some awesome arcadey moments, it still doesn't quite scratch the itch that Battlefield alone can deliver to me. It's a bit too chaotic, and the big contributor here is the lack of destruction. At this point, driving a tank and not plowing through road signs or walls just feels like a really antiquated game design, and goes to show that no one, not even DICE anymore, can quite capture that Battlefield magic. Now on to what could be improved. Starting with the audio design, much has been said about this, but while the audio in general was great, the loudness of footsteps did reward a more defensive playstyle, which I personally don't mind, but the sweaty, aggressive COD players despise this. While I didn't personally think it was a huge deal, it could probably be tweaked a bit. The minimap has been reworked and no longer includes red dots when firing. I personally think this is a pretty good change, as I didn't feel at a disadvantage when hitting flanks or ambushing without a suppressor when firing my weapon, but the community at large is of course enraged at this change. I think a healthy middle ground could be found with some visual indicator of a firing area, kind of like a red glow or something over where the gunfire came from, rather than a pinpoint red dot. I think a healthy medium could be found here. Back to the gunplay, while I really like how powerful the weapons felt, the visual recoil, muzzle flash, and smoke effects could probably be tuned down just a bit. Multiple engagements at range, I just completely lost sight of my target when I pulled the trigger, and it's just not a good feeling to lose a gunfight that way. I don't want them to go overboard here because I do think it looks and sounds really good. Lastly, in the bad was just general bugginess and instability. I was actually surprised how much of a beta this felt like, and it just didn't seem as polished and bug-free as Modern Warfare 2019. Of course it's a beta, but let's be honest, they are glorified stress tests and demos at this point, so hopefully a lot of these weird glitches and issues can be sorted out prior to the full launch. Now for the ugly, and this one's pretty bad. I'm not sure if these big developers just don't allocate the resources or budget, but they really need to stop having several dozen trained monkeys sitting at workstations designing and developing the UI and UX of these games. Seriously, coming off of Battlefield 2042, which genuinely has one of the worst user interfaces I have ever used in a game, I was disappointed to see how poor the entire UX of Modern Warfare 2 was. The gunsmith is such a cool feature that it deserves a slick interface. Finding different game modes, changing settings, everything just required so many clicks and was so poorly laid out that I honestly have no idea what they were thinking here. Game UX is apparently a dying art form, and I actually work with several UX designers that also played, and they were just disgusted by what Infinity Ward had created here. Overall, Modern Modern Warfare 2 is a promising FPS, but I'm kind of on the fence about picking it up, honestly. It's certainly a lot of fun, but with Warzone 2 and the new DMZ being free, it's a hard sell for me at $70. Let me know your thoughts on the beta below. Until next time.